Hi everyone, hope you are doing well from wherever you're watching this channel, depending on your time zone. Now, yesterday, we used our time to talk about William Samoei Ruto orders to Boda riders to go to the police station and collect their motorbikes. But one good thing is that none of these Boda riders took William Samoei Ruto's word seriously. No one took him seriously, and even some people on social media went further to condemn William Samoei Ruto's statement. And today, Professor Mutahi Ngunyi is giving out his views on William Samoei Ruto's failed order on his Twitter handle. If you allow me to read, this is what Professor Mutahi Ngunyi is saying. Ruto calls for Boda to go collect their motorbike was heroic failure. It fell flat on the face. Zero action. If Baba the Fifth had made similar call, Nairobi would have turned into a smoke chamber full of tear gas. Ruto is village dog that has more bark than bite. That is Professor Mutahi Ngunyi responding to William Samoei Ruto failed order. Now, in my view, there could be two things that Professor Mutahi Ngunyi might be communicating to Kenyans about William Samoei Ruto. And that is what we want to look at on this Punchline today. But before we go deep into that, I have a quick request. You might be watching this channel, but you have not yet subscribed. So my humble request, please consider subscribing so that another time, once we release a video like this one, you will always get notified. Again, to all our channel subscribers and anyone who drops comment, I must say thank you so much for your unconditional support. Again, I'm requesting you to give this video thumbs up so that YouTube can recommend our video to more viewers. Back to our discussion. Now, the first thing that Professor Mutahi Ngunyi is telling Kenyans, and those who care to listen, is that Ruto does not have numbers in Nairobi County. Ruto has no numbers in Nairobi City. That is what Professor Mutahi Ngunyi is communicating here. And those people who have real numbers in Nairobi is number one, Raila ODINGA, as he mentioned. Because if Ruto could have numbers in Nairobi, the only thing that Ruto could have done was to do what Raila ODINGA has always done. Call on people for a huge demonstration in the city, then go ahead even in those police stations and order the police officers who illegally took the motorbike to return to the riders. As simple as that. And the public was going to listen to William Samoei Ruto. But because Ruto has no numbers, that's why no one took William Samoei Ruto seriously. Actually, the truth of the matter is that we have seen Raila ODINGA severally, together with his supporters, running in the street with the police officers wakirusha tear gas. To some extent, the president will listen to the demonstrations and take a serious action against what could have been happening. So Ruto order cannot be enforced. He can't even push President UHURU Kenyatta to maybe listen to him or change his mind about the order he had given on Boda riders. That is the truth. And secondly, the next person who has numbers in Nairobi is President UHURU Kenyatta. The truth of the matter is that if you want to, and I know most of us understand that if you want to win election in Kenya, the first thing you will need is to have numbers in Nairobi. So those people who have numbers in Nairobi, number one, Raila ODINGA, number two is President UHURU Kenyatta. Ruto does not have numbers. And to prove you that President UHURU Kenyatta has numbers in Nairobi, you can just look at the rally President UHURU Kenyatta had today in Nairobi. Watch this shortly, and we are going to continue with this conversation. Now, it is true that the Deputy President William Ruto has tried everything possible to snatch the Kikuyu numbers in Nairobi from President Uhuru Kenyatta, but it has always failed. The president decided that you can take everything from him, but the numbers in Nairobi, he will not let it go. And William Ruto is trying this because he understands one thing: he don't have his community in Nairobi. Our politics always is local, and therefore tribes matter. As we are speaking now, even the Kalenjin in Nairobi, when you put them together, they cannot even manage to elect an MCA in a ward. They are not enough to make those numbers. And this is the biggest headache for William Ruto within Nairobi politics. So, the president has the numbers. Raila has the numbers. Ruto thought that even bringing Musalia closer to him, he can have the Luya numbers. But there is one thing Luyas still understand, that we have had two tribes leading the country, and it is becoming a trend. The only way to break this trend and change Kenyan politics is by bringing another person, and the person closer to power, as we are speaking now, is not Musalia Mudavadi, it is Raila ODINGA. So, there is no way William Ruto will convince Luyas to side with him through Musalia Mudavadi when they understand very well that Mudavadi is now supporting William Ruto, and that is a continuation of what we have had. Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Kalenjin, Kikuyu, Kikuyu, Kalenjin. It will not work this time round. So because of that reason, and especially Nairobi, they are very sharp. You cannot convince them even with your money to get their vote. They always get to the ballot when they have made an informed decision. So Ruto can have Mudavadi, he can have some leaders from Mount Kenya region, but he might not have the numbers in Nairobi County. And secondly, when Professor Mutahi Ngunyi goes ahead to suggest that William Ruto can only back in the city, but he can't bite. His bites can only be felt in the village politics. That's why you see people like Isaac Ruto, they have just to follow the UDA side for them to be safe. But when it comes to the city, he cannot bite. The truth again is that if Ruto was man enough, who want to show direction, he could have enough courage to call for a demonstration in Nairobi. So Ruto, in other words, Professor Mutahi Ngunyi is telling us that Ruto does not have courage like President Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila ODINGA. If he had courage, then he could not fear anything. Today or yesterday, we could have had demonstrations against the impunity on Boda riders. And that's why you see President Uhuru Kenyatta is very brave. Today he has said that he has talked to the Boda riders, and he has said we must have order. But he will call for a meeting with them so that they can decide on how to go about this sector. So he's not going to give a chance for William Ruto to ride on the small mistakes that Boda have done so that he can win their support. That one is not going to happen. Because for a long time he has been in government, there's no way Ruto has come out to defend the Boda riders, even when the price of fuel is going high. No time Ruto has defended them. The only thing he has done is to allow his people, while the MPs who have been coming from Rift Valley and anywhere else they control numbers, to go ahead and increase support in the increase of fuel. So, watu wanajua ya kwamba Ruto has never been with them. But because it's electioneering time, now Ruto needs their vote. He wants to behave as if he has been with the poor of the poorest, when he has never been supporting this group. So I want you to convince me in the comment section How can Ruto become the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya when he don't have numbers in Nairobi, even without rigging? Let me believe that no rigging will happen. But tell me, without controlling these numbers in Nairobi, how can Ruto win this election? Because even President Uhuru Kenyatta has had very hard time. To an extent, even Jubilee went further to rig out some leaders in Nairobi and even the governorship, just because they needed numbers in the city. And you see, Raila ODINGA has been giving everyone who has been winning election hard time in Nairobi, because for you to control this country, you need to control Nairobi first. The moment you don't control Nairobi, then the opposition, as long as they are controlling Nairobi, you will have to some extent listen to them. Otherwise, they are going to give you hard time. So let us meet in the comment section to have a continuation of this conversation. Otherwise, thank you so much for listening to me up to this far. May good God bless you and see you in our next video.